Hi, welcome everyone. So, welcome to another podcast of Shakir's ERP vlog. Today, I have an interesting guest with me. His name is Srujan Shetty. He comes with more than 10 years of experience, 10 to 12 years of experience actually. He's worked in multiple industries, F&B, hospitality, and now into real estate. One of the interesting thing about Srujan is that similar to me, he's also worked on multiple different platforms and different ERPs and solutions he's worked with. Right now, he's with a real estate development company. He's an IT manager right now. And I wanted to talk to him and understand more about what is the tech landscape, how does it look like right now, because the real estate market is quite booming and changing every day. So let's join me in welcoming Shujan. So hi Shujan, how are you?
Hey, hi. Thank you, Shakir.
Welcome to the podcast.
Great, great. First of all, thank you for creating this such a wonderful platform to provide experience and expertise to the team. There are numerous people there nowadays. Podcast is rapidly increasing to get the experience in different industries
Yeah.
for for a new upcoming talent, so they don't know what's of meaning of failure. In terms of podcast is the best platform. I really appreciated this initiative for this role. Definitely you're doing best. All
Thank
the
you.
best for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thanks for the nice introduction. Yeah, myself Srujan Shetty. uh, I'm currently heading Shobha's new division, which is Sobha Furniture. I've been basically 12 years of experience with me, working with the different industries like hospitality, F&B, retail, and manufacturing. I worked over multiple tools, which is famous like Microsoft, SAP, and Oracle. I have that experience with me. Past 12 years, I'm into this industry. Providing different solutions,
Right.
implemented um, procurement to pay cycle, order to cash cycle,
Hmm.
order management, point of sale, customer experience, everything included as a digital experience leader. So definitely I'm happy to host this event.
Interesting. Okay, so let me talk about the interesting topic. Let me come right to the point. An ERP project is, let's say, there's a failure project. Okay. Normally, whenever an ERP failure that happens, is always a mindset that it's a problem with the partner who's implemented it, right? Now, let me ask you, how much of a role do you think the client has on that in a kind of an ERP implementation project? Because when you get ERP implementation project failures, there could be a lot of factors that involved in that. Partner being one of it. But what is you come from a client side of things, right? So I want to know how much of a role that client plays in this project. So can you share some thoughts on that?
Definitely, definitely. So just to correct it, basically I started my career as a consultant.
Okay.
Then I moved to the client side.
Okay.
So I know the both pains. This is one interesting fact with me. So when it comes to the ERP failures or any projects, okay, failure, it's not in one hand basically.
Correct.
Definitely they'll put the blame on basically the vendor or business partner, but the majority of the failure it comes from the business hand.
Hmm.
Because what I really understand, okay, when it comes to the ERP project, all the business owners and business users feel that one, it is IT project
Hmm.
rather than there's a business. But
Right.
when they realize it's a business tool we are going to use and we are going to get a benefit out of that one, yeah, IT team is just facilitator, right?
Correct.
So those factors, once they come into the picture, then only the ERP will be successful any organization, whether it's a small scale or a large scale. This is my observation.
Okay. Now, let's say from a project manager point of view, right? What do you think would be missing or in a planning phase of such kind of projects that will eventually lead to a failure later on? From your point of view, from a project manager, what do you think is the failure for these kind of things?
So, okay, by taking one example, basically one of my previous company got a failure in the ERP.
Okay.
So definitely it's a lifetime learning for me,
Hmm.
and happy to accept that failure, because there are numerous issues behind that one. Let me talk break it down one by one.
Sure.
So basically the previous customer, basically where I worked, is a failure. Basically they have usually ERP implementation in a small scale, it becomes 9 to 12 months. In a larger scale is more than 1 year, right?
Right.
That company wants to implement the project within 2 months. This
Wow.
is number one.
Okay.
Number two, we have a problem with the people, employees are leaving on a regular basis due to X factor. I don't want to. So end of the day, I am the owner of the project. I have to implement, and there are multiple divisions. Like they are into retail, they are into FMB, they are into Horeca business, they have franchisee, and they are into manufacturers.
Right.
So it's huge. The company holds a good experience in like not experience, basically good thought process or in the business. They are into everywhere. As IT a facilitator, it is a great opportunity to
course.
build a system
Yeah.
across to connect to the all the entities, basically.
Yeah.
So the limitation with this problem, we miserably failed. Within 2 months, the new basically finance guy joined. He doesn't have a breathing time, and he asked him to we force, basically. I don't have time, so we force. So he doesn't verify the trial balance. So that's a first disaster. He didn't verify. As per him, we uploaded. So end of the day, due to this many complications, the data become mess.
Right.
As simple as we always talk, garbage in, garbage out. This is the tool, right? So
Correct.
that is happened there. Now from that mistake, we took a learning from that failure, and we take a courage to talk to the management. This is the X reason we are failure.
Yeah.
How we can able to mitigate, right? Now we have a providers. Instead of 2 months, we don't provide 9 months.
Yeah.
At least provide 6 months of the down the time. Number one. Number two, we need a proper core team who is going to work for the ERP. This is two. And provide us your time as well. As a management, what is your thought process? What is your end result you want from the system? Then we convince, basically from my side, and finance is a major roles. We convince down the line, within 5 months, we re-implement the same product, same environment, and with a successful. Now it's currently working 100% working fine without any major maintenance.
I think, as you rightly said, I have seen that happening time and again. That squeezing the timeline for a project, it's this decision comes from the customers majority of the time. True. Because they have certain deadlines. Maybe there's a product launch, maybe there's a new business launch that is happening, or maybe there is a new entity they're rolling out, getting into a new market. So this timeline has to be prepared well in advance, and enough time has to be given for partners and even for the internal team to validate. As you rightly said, somebody who will just not validate the trial balance and upload it because the timeline is very short. So I think that's the right point what you mentioned. It is the timeline has to be given in the right way for every project. You cannot squeeze that. There is a mindset that if you put more resources, the work can be done in much more faster way.
Yeah.
So that is something very important. That's the right point which you said. Another thing I want to ask you is, let's say change management. Okay, if you look at change management itself, an industry like real estate that is booming, and there's a lot of new technologies that are coming up and requirements that are coming up. Even the way how the developers and brokers and agencies work with these technologies, it's not the same way how it was like a decade or 5-6 years before, right? So change management plays a major role in this kind of project. So how do you look at it? How do you think the companies are equipped to handle this kind of a change drastically coming in?
So basically, well, coming back to big industries, okay, it's come with the package.
Right.
Buy one, get one. Basically, what is brand? You have a huge facility, you have a huge database, you have n number of talent inside that one. What is buy one get one baggage? Basically, with a huge set of what happened, the people mindset which sit with the existing system only.
Right.
They don't want to change. Number one, the process behind each workflow, okay, it's a takes a number of steps, and people at the end, what is the result? They don't follow the first portion only. They will work the second, let's say first portion means 40 to 50% of portion people only work. The rest of the people, they already knows about the project, and they are aware about the budget and the
Right.
product, everything. This simply approve the workflow, right? This is a major challenge with a big thing. So but thanks to COVID, you know
Right.
because as a post COVID, definitely some industries got a benefit, which I can say first IT, right? Because the people change their mindset. How people used to think system is system, but after post COVID, basically system is driven the companies,
True.
system driven a solution, system driven decisions. So with this, people invested a
Yeah.
time, money, and people also changed their thought process.
Yeah.
So with that bad incident, as a good we are
Correct.
learning from them is this thing. So when it comes to the change management, right, when in the middle of the project, okay, that's the reason we always have a backup plan in terms of the people, in terms of the plan. When it's go plan A fails, we'll go for plan B.
Right.
As a ERP is a big process, right?
Correct.
Because we have to align with the almost every part of the business. So
Absolutely.
we should have that tendency to plan B along with the what usually I do without failure. Any ERP, if I'm implementing across from last 12 years of experience, okay, I always keep a stakeholder meeting every bi-week, 2 weekly, bi-weekly basically. So every 2 weeks, whether the progress is there or no, but we try to explain this is the status done, this is a progress, this is the flags.
Communication is very important. Yes.
This way, if any a tool or basically it's any decision
Yeah.
we need to take from the management, that is a helping platform. And always encourage team members also don't skip the stakeholder. This
Right.
is number one. Number two, we build as Lean Sigma project, basically we build a core team members.
Right.
Okay, each department, either 2 or 3 if we are talking about the small scale. If it's a big, minimum 5 to 6 people, they have to involve their department along with the connecting department, what's happening. So the knowledge transfer has to be there. These are the two areas definitely I'll follow. So it's always build a strong connection between the department, then definitely it leads to the success.
Good. It's a good practice, actually. Okay. I also want to ask you now, let's say, have you ever come across a project where you looked at it, the technical feasibility, where you're confident the project is successful, or you planned everything out, but eventually went into a bit of a failure or the challenges that happen? Have you ever come across, in spite of the validations which you have done?
Yes, definitely yes. As I mentioned in my previous statement, that's a biggest failure in my life, and that is a biggest learning point where
Right.
you business users keep on changing, business requirement is keep on changing, the time shrinking from 9 to 12 months to 2 months. It's not at all feasible in that dynamic environment. So by looking at this one, it's a learning how we can able to manage the stakeholders mindset.
Right.
So because the tool which we are building, this is help the organization grow better than that one. The visibility comes. So once the failure comes, then we talk to the management, we took time, we take the core team, and we build the system. Down the line for a 1 year, the better system came, they can able to see instantly the sales, the KPIs basically, and the inventory, and the project across, as I said, multiple divisions are there.
Right.
From the phone itself, they can able to handle, take the decision. So
Nice.
we have, when we build proper system, it's always because the good things takes time, right?
Of course.
So the same way we explain and we deliver. That's a major failure from the success.
So now, if you look at in the Middle East, specifically, if you look at UAE, right? There are a lot of companies, even small scale companies, brokerage firms, agencies. They're also looking at new technologies to help their customers. Like they're using AI tools right now, which I recently saw an AI telecalling or a cold calling AI agent who calls these prospects and try to book a meeting or a site visit for them. So they are exploring new technologies that are coming in now. As you're working as a top end developer who is one of the kind of like pioneers who are coming in certain different aspects of the business, what is that is happening in the property tech? If you look at it, right? Maybe can you throw some light on what is happening in the back end for the property developers in that space? Because most of it is happening in the broker side or the agency side. A lot of social media which is talked about, but not much in the property developer side of things. So can you throw some light on what are things that are happening? Where do you see the industry is moving towards?
Definitely. So as everybody is talking about AI and agentic AI, definitely is a stepping stone for middle management team like us. Okay, we have to take as an opportunity. So that's what where I'm standing, and the current organization is also building that space, and it's always open to build that process. Basically we are talking about the customer experience center, and we built across UAE. We can proudly say one application does everything in terms of customer, broker, and connecting the back office, everything. We already established that app which is called one app. So those, what is the special features about is connecting with Deva, it is connecting with the internal brokers percentage, and we are talking about the self explanatory AI agent. If you want to book maintenance service from a customer, you no need to call, it just open that one, few clicks, the right team is at your doorsteps. And example, if you owner, basically we are talking about the investor, right? So investor have a multiple apartments or villas across the UAE.
Right.
They can able to manage easily from one app. Okay.
Very good.
The pain point, we understand the pain point from the customer, from their perspective, what could be the solution. That's why we are building the solution. This is one part. And the second part, we are talking about the AR VR person. If any, let's say one of the interesting project we are doing in our environment. So as your customer, you came to us, you are building the experience center, customer experience center. Basically, you want to see, visualize at the same time, you want to see the product also. So it's a combination of two different worlds. Basically, the customer will come to our experience center and will ask them to wear the VR glass, and they can able to see, let's say kitchen or apartment color, everything they can able to change instantly. From there, if you want to see the product, is going to see the final product is going to look like that. Then as a price comparison and the quality at the same time, able to that experience we are building.
Most of the real estate companies are mainly focusing on ERPs for their internal operations.
Okay.
Which is bookings
you're talking general things.
general things. So
okay.
which is the back end management of things.
True.
Now there is definitely a requirement coming into focus mainly on the customer side of things.
Right.
Facilities management or the requests related to their customized experience for them. Like when is the renewals coming in, notifications, there's the customer support. So do you think there are a lot of brands who are missing on this area? Is there an area to improve for them?
100% true. We as we are into techies, basically we always see how the other industries, I mean our competitors are doing.
Right.
So when I notice this one, no other brand is doing this, not taking care of the customer point of view. When we say basically as you customer, okay, I'll take it one example. Any food delivery app, okay. it's doing greater than anybody else here. Why I'm saying this one? Because they think a customer is main your preference, your location, your thought process or interest. Basically, they store that one. The same way as real estate industry or any other industry, we should adopt that solution,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
If customer is your main center point,
Yeah.
what is their pain points, what is their thought process, because nowadays people wants everything instant, right?
Yeah.
If some maintenance or some
Correct.
body required to inspect,
Yeah.
okay, they don't want to go for the email or traditional call. This one, they want to sit without disturbing the flow. They can able to engage with the right candidate. This is needs to be developed.
Correct.
And so many automation tools also coming to the picture. Let's say home automation and application. Let's say that experience we have to build to the customer. Then only the happy customer, happy sale.
Of course, of course, yeah, yeah. Customer delight is very,
Yeah,
very
exactly.
important
Yeah.
because there's a lot of new things which the customers are looking at in the market, and they also want to get the best of, best of both worlds. Be it um, the real estate side of things, even what is the experience which they want. They definitely want best of both worlds. Now, another thing I want to ask you is, let's say you are given an opportunity where somebody who you want to decide a checklist, like you want to create a checklist of ERP selection. Okay, now you are being a CIO, like if you choose 3 points, what would be the 3 points, what you will have in your checklist for this 3 points for ERP selection? What should you advise if you have to design a ERP implementation checklist? And let's say for a CIO or for a project manager, follow these 3 steps before you start evaluating an ERP system. What would that checklist will be? What would be the 3 points which you will insist for them to follow?
If you insist me talk about the three major
Yeah.
points. First, business side of it. Basically, what business wants.
Right.
Okay, as a business CEO or any level, you want as a C level team, what they want from the system. This is we need to understand clearly and scope it. Basically, business requirement document is one of the key checklist from business requirement. The second thing, right team, right time, right? With, as I mentioned in my previous statement as well. So if you're talking about the large scale, okay, the number of users in the beginning of the project to till the end, okay, when it comes to the legacy system to the new system, the knowledge transfer and the way they process. Currently, you follow currently 5 best practices in as per the business,
Right.
but as per the best practices across the globe, we suggest, okay, instead of 5, you can able to cut down to 2, but without missing the audit process in the system. So the second will be the right people at the right time,
Right.
or from the beginning, you can say that.
Right.
Second thing, when it comes to the data, okay, and different system across the business, when you want to integrate and what data you want to integrate, that clarity across the departments we should have. These
Right.
3 checklists basically I follow to get the success.
What advice would you give to real estate companies who are unsure whether to invest in ERP, or should I just run my business with the current system I have? I have a different accounting system, I have a different sales system, I have a different HR system, whatever they call it. They're unsure. So what do you advise? Should they continue the same, or should they invest in ERP?
Thanks for this question. Basically, it's definitely eye opener for the business across this region or across the globe, right? Definitely a different tools for different requirement. It will work for some time.
Right.
After that one, what happened? The data become messy. You don't get proper integration between the application. You don't get reports. You don't. You have to you have to to get the management view.
Right.
You have to go different tools basically, and we need army to run the process.
Right.
So in fact, for that one, invest in ERP, implement proper end-to-end solution through ERP, or else custom build your own application to run your business. That's can avoid lot of damage for the longer run, because any business owner or the user wish to get the success only. But in this trend, with the right information at the right time in handy,
Right.
you will get the take the decision. Based on your decision, the success will come faster.
Of course. Now, where do you see the role of ERP project manager moving towards right now in the next, let's say, 5-10 years? Now that new technologies like AI, RPA, blockchain, a lot of these technologies are coming in. It's no longer just project manager anymore. So where do you see the role, and how do you see additional responsibilities? What kind of additional responsibilities do you think the project manager is going to handle going forward, do you think?
So, as we are listening and now we are adopting to the AI, definitely is evolving very fast, right? Earlier, PMs are just a connector between or task tracker,
Right.
but now being fast evaluation for AI, business wants to understand how AI is going to help in our business. So we are the key users in the business to connect between business, tech, and the partners.
Right.
And we have to build this solution. Earlier, what happened? Take the example, right? Little small tools to build. It takes ages. Now we have an advantage. Get right tool into the right business in a week. You can able to establish a proper process.
Right.
So as a PM, you have to be evaluate the current scenarios and understand the business. Most important thing, I always say one word: you don't understand the technology is not your failure, but if you don't understand the business where you are working, it's a failure.
Yeah.
So simple, right?
Yeah.
If you understand the business, okay, then the bringing the right tool or right technology is easy. If you don't know, also reach out to the partners, then
Right.
they will suggest. But if you don't know what business is doing,
Right.
it's absolutely failure, right? Definitely being experience with expertise, you have some expertise within you, how we can able to help the business. But understanding from core what business is doing, what their goal for next 5 to 10 years, and what is the budget. Okay,
Right.
some companies does open budget, which is very good for the IT team. They can able to play around and but play wisely and build the system for the longer run, right?
Right.
That will help you also goal. So this is one of the major advice to the your viewers and across the globe for this.
Where do you see there's a gap in ERP partners? There is one common thing which all the ERP partners might be doing the same mistake. If you have to recommend or ask them to fix this problem, what would be this? And at the other side, I also want to talk about from the client side or the customer side. Customers always do this mistake in an ERP project. So one for the partner, one for the customer. What do you recommend?
Very interesting, Shakir. Definitely, because this question, this from the business partners also need to understand, and the
Correct.
business owners also need to understand, right? Where this platform will use. Basically, business partners, they need to understand the requirement from the customer, right? It's not like, okay, come put the proposal and implement and go, right?
Right.
They will never come back. So if you want to success in any region, you want to understand the pain points, business
course.
requirement, and the next goal, the result what you're expecting as a customer. You need to listen to their shoes, right?
Right.
This is the business partner.
Correct.
When it comes to the business owners, right, they always say, okay, I want to build a system, but building system, how much responsible as a business partner, the same responsibility align with you as well.
Right.
Means the core team members has to be start from the beginning to end, and the business stakeholders need to involve
Right.
from the beginning, because ERP is not a normal tool which is okay, one process covers next process. It covers your end to end operations.
Correct.
So your thought process has to be aligned, because the new ERP comes with the any customization is easy, right? I'm not saying like that, but at least it's a possible, because we have a different business processes there, and your thought process also there. So according to your needs, we can able to build, but you have to invest the time at the same time what you are investing money.
Correct.
Both only it will collaborate and will give the best result.
Of course. Very good. Now, another interesting question I would have. So, there are certain solutions that are there in the market where it's a nice to have functionality,
Correct.
right? If you look at a OEM, OEMs are built with 20-25 years of experience. They have a very standardized process. They follow the best standards in the world, and then this is the solution. This is how you have to implement. That being said, I would not call it rigid, but I would call it that is how the standard
Best
of
practices.
is the ERP system is. But there's some departments or some solutions they want to have it in their organization. I want to have the system. I want to have something similar to that. Now, you are somebody, the project manager. What would your idea would be? You know what? I would go ahead with the standardized system, which is already well taken, proven. Maybe it doesn't have that nice to have functionalities, but for your business, this is really good system. Keep it like this. Or you would go out completely, all guns blazing and say that, okay, this is a new function. Let's explore that. Let's test that out. Or you'll do a combination of, okay, I'm going to have a standard backend system. On the front end, I will probably do a customize or a complete system. What would be your thought process? Which is the safest, do you think? Which you will do?
So, okay, to answer that one, it's not about safest. Basically, sometimes, as a pioneer user into the IT, okay, we have to explore that new options, okay, but not at the business bleeding time, right?
Right.
So, what I really, lucky to have the business across or organization have, I have some open budget for that kind of things.
Right.
So definitely we have to follow the best practices. This is one way, but at the same time, this kind of, let's say, testing process, what we can do, either we can do parallel runs and
Right.
see the result. This is
Right.
the best option without disturbing the business, right? But if we provide endless result or numerous like top result, definitely we can able to replace with the traditional tool. This is decision has to be taken before we have to analyze the process. We have to see the pros and cons. Then only we have to. This is one way of doing this one. A second way, maybe in any organization, small entity will be there or small department will be there,
Right.
where the business impact will be not that much. So we have to choose that person or that department, then implement this solution.
Right.
So this mix and match, it's not a straight way. It's mix and match. You have to, if you want to get the taste right,
Correct.
you have to be bit aggressive and
course.
bit definitely. It's not a safe gamer. Never provide the best result basically.
Correct.
Right.
I understand. I'll tell you why I asked this question. Mainly because there are certain projects that are driven with the whole idea of nice to have functionalities
Right.
rather than must have functionalities. So that's why I insisted on there is something which is proven and tested in the market that you already have a solution.
Nice to have, right?
Yeah. But the nice to have is so exciting that can I go to that, because you will try to fly before even you walk. So that is why I wanted to your thought process on this. How do you see these things coming? So that's very interesting. Now.
True.
Another thing I wanted to check with you here, or get your opinion on this is, let's say there is some failure or mishappening that have happened on the project. Okay, so maybe it was not an intention from the team to do it or go in the wrong direction. So as a steps, what steps do you recommend that as an organization should take to fix the problem rather than discarding the system completely? There's always a mindset when anything that happens saying that either the partner has an issue, the product is not good enough, or X, Y, Z, there's a misconception that will happen. So what would be your post-mortem analysis for this kind of such projects that have happened? What would you recommend companies to consider that?
Okay. So with my experience, I'm telling you, basically, definitely a failure will happen with X factors, right? So after a failure, we need to understand where went wrong. This is analysis phase. Okay. That analysis phase, you have to be a bit open-minded to understand, because anyway it's a failure, right? Whether definitely it's a bitter truth. We have to list down how many areas we thought it went wrong. This is number one. Number two, I always recommend, okay, this is my personal experience, okay, instead of blaming the partners, okay, bring them on the same top meeting room and list down the issues, okay, instead of, so most of the companies, what they will do, if the failure, they'll call for the new partners, okay. If their existing partners are, we didn't follow their instructions in the beginning, or if they have a proper experience, retain them. This is my understanding. Then in the same meeting room, when you list down, they have their own points, you have their own point. From there, we can able to build a mitigation plan. Okay, so along with your failure points and what could be the next action plan, at the same time recurring meetings between the partners and the stakeholders within the process. As ITPM, you have to be aligned with both of them. This is the my ideal solution to come up from the disaster to success.
Very good. Very good. Good. So it was pleasure having this podcast, Srujan. So thank you so much for joining this podcast. And I think you also enjoyed this podcast because we discussed on a lot of common points, a lot of common problems that are there in the market which you wanted to address. So thank you so much, and happy to have you.
Really appreciated, Shakir. It was very nice to have, not must to have the discussion with me, but definitely for the users, they will enjoy this session and they will get something out of it.
Absolutely.
Much appreciated. Keep doing. All the
Thank
best
you.
for your future endeavors.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good.